Hi guys, so today we're going to be learning about the factoring of polynomials through the difference of squares. So firstly, what is a perfect square? A perfect square is the product of a rational number multiplied by itself. Again, the product of a rational number multiplied by itself. Okay, so once you got that done, we'll move on to the next part. So, factoring perfect squares is the opposite of factoring. Okay, next part. What is the purpose of factoring perfect squares? To get the simplest form possible. Again, the purpose of factoring perfect squares is to get the simplest form possible. Okay, now it's time to actually solve problems. So, the directions state, factor the following perfect squares in simplest form. And we're going to do all of them. So, number 1, first. X squared minus 16. So you're going to want to factor these. So how you do that is you figure out what goes into 16. So obviously it's 4 and 4. So if you try to FOIL that, you're going to get x squared minus 16. So that's an easy way to check your work. So we forgot to say that the square root of 16 is 4. So that's another way you can figure out how to solve and figure out that 4 times 4 is the square root. So, number 2, 4x to the 4th minus 36. So, first step, you're going to want to factor it. So, the square root of 4x to the 4th is 2x squared plus 6. And then, it's also the same on the other side, because if you FOILed it back together, it would equal 4x squared minus 36. So, one of them you have to make minus, because in the original problem, it says 4x to the 4th minus 36. So you can choose any of them. Cindy, do you want to do this? Oh. Moving on to number 3. Oh. Okay, we're not done yet, because you can further simplify and factor this. So you can take out 2, which is now equal to x squared plus 3. And on the other side, it's the same thing, because both of the problems are equal. So if you FOILed this, you could see the answer is 4x to the 4th minus 36.
Pause now. So for number 3.
Alright, for number 3, I want you guys to try it. So here's 1 minute to go ahead and solve this. So we're going to change the cube root of 9 to 6, because it doesn't really work. So now you try. We hope by now you've all tried, so here's the answer. So 5x cubed plus 9, and the same on the other side. 5x cubed plus 9. I mean minus 9. Sorry, my mistake. Alright, and that is your final answer.
Sorry, guys.
So, moving on to number 4. Another you try. So, here's a minute to go ahead and try it. Alright, so here's the answer. We hope you've all tried to figure it out. Alright, 9x to the 4th, y squared minus 1. So, the answer is 3x squared, y plus 1. Same on the other side, but with an additional minus. 3x squared, y minus 1. That is your final answer. So for number 5, we're going to change the numbers again to 10 and 14, because the other numbers are way too hard. So now the problem reads 49x to the 10th minus 64x to the 14th. By the way, these numbers are already altered on your notes, so don't worry about it. Alright, to solve this, the answer is 7x to the 5th plus 8x to the 7th and 7x to the 5th minus 8x to the 7th. And again, if you FOIL this, you'll get 49x to the 10th minus 64x to the 14th. Moving on to number 6 now. And again, we're going to change the numbers. So 9 is going to become 10. 6, not 10. So if you try to find the answer, you failed because there is no answer. Haha, we tricked you. So if all of you are wondering why this is not factorable, basically you cannot take out any number or any variable or exponent from the answer. Also, because it's plus. Sorry, we're having technical malfunctions. Moving on to the last problem, applications. The problem states, there is a truck full of watermelon slices. The front seat has 144x to the 4th watermelon slices. The watermelon slices from the back seat are already in the house. There are 256x to the 9th watermelon slices from the back seat. Simplify the polynomial of the watermelon slices to find the simplest form of how many watermelon slices there are. Sorry, our mistake again. The one that states 256x to the 9th is now going to be changed to 256x to the 6th. So first, set up your problem, because this is a word problem and it's not a give me problem. So first, you're going to want to put 144x to the 4th minus 256x to the 6th. Remember, it's not to the 9th, it's to the 6th. So this is your problem, and now we are going to use everything that we've taught you to do this problem. And don't forget your parentheses, because then your answer could be screwed up. And if you're wondering how to solve all these big numbers, well, just ask your friendly calculator to do all the work. So first, you're going to want to find the square root of 144, and not use the x to the 4th yet. So the square root of 144 is 12, obviously. And do the same thing for the other side of the equation, 256. The square root of 256 is obviously 16. Now do the same thing, but for the variables. We understand that this may be a little bit more challenging, but don't worry. This is why we have video notes. So, x to the 4th goes to x squared, because x squared times x squared is going to x to the 4th, because you add the exponents. Now that you know how to do x to the 4th, you can do x to the 6th, which is x to the 3rd and x to the 3rd, because remember, you add together the exponents. Now, as we approach our last few steps, you're going to want to put it all together. So, 12x squared plus 16x to the cube, next parenthesis set, 12x squared minus 16x cubed. And remember, one of your equations should always have a minus sign and the other one should have a plus sign. And this is your final answer. So as a recap, some essential questions that we're going to recap on. Factoring perfect squares is the opposite of what? Factoring. What is the purpose of factoring perfect squares? To get the simplest form possible. Another one. What is a perfect square? The product of a rational number multiplied by itself. Thanks for watching, and we hope you learned all about factoring polynomials through the difference of squares.